Everybody, welcome back to another casual conversation with me, Jonathan Mitchell, my dad, Michael Mitchell, here at Strategic Wealth Partners. We're a financial planning firm that has been around for, how long has Strategic Wealth Partners been around?
Well,
you've been in the business for over 50 years.
50 years,
right?
yeah. Strategic Wealth has been around since 2004.
Okay, so for 20 years.
20 years,
Okay,
yeah.
that was easy math.
Yeah.
That was good. And we wanted to talk about something that we've just been discussing, recently, and something that I think a lot of people have a hard time, figuring out what to do or rationalizing, and that is, as an individual gets further into their career and closer to approaching retirement age, and I know that age can be different for different people,
Yeah,
but the question is, should I have more of my money in the market, attached to the stock market, or in something else, right? Or how did you phrase the question earlier?
The question that people have in their mind is, as I'm approaching the years that I'm thinking about beginning to slow down and retire, I've got most of my money in some type of investment account. It might be a mutual fund account, it might be ETFs, it might be stock portfolio, things of that nature.
ETFs
being electronically traded funds.
Okay. I don't want to pretend that people know.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just talk off the top of my head and I don't realize I'm not talking, I'm talking street talk any longer. Just being able, should I leave my money in those positions, particularly as I go into retirement, because the big danger as you go into retirement is that running risk while you're pulling money from an investment account on a systematic basis. It has a concept called a sequence of return risk, and people face that as they go into retirement. Another issue that people have when they're thinking about, well, do I keep my investment accounts the way they are as I go deeper into my career and get closer to retirement? I mean, they look at their most recent account statements, particularly when we're in an environment like we are now, and the market is just going gangbusters, and they've been getting 20 and 25% returns, and they think this is going to go forever. The other issue relative to that is people don't really understand and comprehend that when you're looking at your account statement, particularly when it's performing quite well and the numbers are going up, those are actually not your numbers yet. Those are not your numbers until you liquidate that account and turn it into cash.
Yeah. So it feels good looking at that statement.
Yeah.
Or when you log in and you're like, man,
yeah,
the account looks good.
Yeah.
But it's not really yours.
Correct.
Yet.
Yeah. See, I have been around long enough to see the time when the markets imploded, particularly in 2001 and 2008, when we had what most people will understand as the dot-com bubble bursting in 2001 and the real estate bubble bursting in 2008, and then you went through a period of probably 14 years or longer where people wouldn't even open their account statements anymore. They could not face what they saw.
Yeah.
But the situation is the same. When you see your accounts going the opposite direction, you have to realize those are not your numbers either.
Yeah.
So when they're up and when they're down, as long as you're in the market, that's not going to be your finishing point. But the problem is this, is as you move closer to your retirement years, and I've often said this to people, the most dangerous time relative to risk as far as retirement is 5 years before you retire and 5 years after you retire. Those are the danger periods. So as you're going into that phase and all your money is basically positioned into the market, and you take a serious market correction at that point, being able to recover from that and still retire at the time that you want to retire with the amount of money that you want to retire on is very difficult.
Yeah. And market correction being like it takes a dip.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the market can turn on a dime, as People who've been in the market long enough can tell you. And I think the problem is there are some people, when the market's going hot like it is now, and a lot of people are getting in the market. I saw this in 2001. I saw it again in 2008. Market was going up steadily just before the bubbles burst, and we had a trough in the market. A lot of people were getting in the market who had never been in the market before. So all they knew was it going up. And then when disaster hit, it's very deflating, it's very depressing, and people they don't know what to do, so they're stuck. Now, the other problem that happens is when you're going into retirement and you've got an account in an investment account and you're pulling systematic returns out of those or distributions from those to supplement or to depend on for your income. And you have a market correction while you're systematically taking this money out. When you take that money out on the tail end of a market correction, it only drives that account deeper into the hole. It means it's much, much more difficult to come out of that circumstance. So that sequence of return risk. And we have strategies here at Strategic Wealth Partners that we teach our clients how to mitigate that. And it's a simple process of simply you put in a ballast of another account that's not affected by the market, so that you can make a choice when you're taking the income out. Do I take it from my investment account that's suddenly taking a big hit, or do I leave it alone and I take it from this other pot, this other source, and allow my investment account to recover, because the market goes up and down. So it's just a strategic process, a strategy that we teach our clients when we're taking them through the process that we use here at Strategic Wealth to teach them how to overcome these issues.
I remember whenever I was back in my corporate life and working for a large insurance company on the IT side of things, and I started working there, and this was around late 2007, 2008. And I was working with a number of people that were in their they were probably getting close to their early 60s or mid 60s, and they were ready to retire. And 2008 happened, and they were not able to retire.
No.
So it does affect when you can make certain decisions.
The phrase that went around, particularly in 2008, when the real estate bubble burst, is a lot of people talked about their 401k plans becoming 201k plans. And that's because the market literally collapsed almost overnight by 40 to 50%. And if you're right on the cusp of going into retirement and that happens to you, you're not going to retire. It's not going to give you the option to do that. So building plans that can mitigate those potential problems as you're going through and developing a retirement plan, that's what we do here. That's what we think we're very, very good at.
So can you touch on one of those, what are some of those things that you can do to protect yourself against that risk?
One of the things that you can do is the old saying is you don't put all your eggs in one basket. So if you've got all your retirement assets basically sitting in a 401k plan or an IRA account, and they're invested in the market, and you go into retirement in that scenario, you're just naked. You're from a risk perspective, you're naked. What we do is we build in accounts that grow, that we call them indexed accounts, but they grow based on market performance, just like your investment accounts. But they have a unique aspect to them, which there's a floor, there's an underpinning floor, so that if the market corrects on you, these index accounts will not lose money. Now, when the market's going well, like it is now, these index accounts are growing, and significantly. So you're not giving up growth to have it, but it creates a ballast. So now you have two pots of assets, if you will, and you can determine where I'm going to pull my retirement dollars from, depending on what your investment accounts are doing. So if they're doing well, obviously you can continue to pull those. That doesn't mean these are not going to continue to grow. But if they're down, and you continue to pull money out of those accounts when they're depressed, it's just going to drive them deeper in the hole. So then you switch and you pull money from what I like to call them a ballast account. And that way you keep a good balance to what you're doing relative to managing risk in retirement.
Yeah. No, that's good. And I mean, and these indexed accounts are things that most people are not familiar with, and they've just, it's because we've just not been taught about them.
Yeah. I get more, whenever I sit down with a client and I talk to them and I start teaching them about these indexed accounts and they hear how they work, the most common comment I get from those is, why haven't I ever heard about these before? And if these are that great, why isn't everybody doing them? And my simple answer is, it's all education.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in a world that's driven by mass marketing, media marketing, and you're only getting half-truths oftentimes.
Yeah.
And you certainly get shaded truths a lot of times. And so we're all about, at Strategic Wealth, we're all about teaching our clients those things that you just don't get through the mass marketing efforts of a lot of entities.
Yeah. Yeah, and we do that teaching and education through our planning process, which we call LEAP, which stands for Lifetime Economic Acceleration Planning Process.
Yeah, process.
Yeah, process. And that, through that planning model is where we do a lot of this educating of clients.
Yeah,
and it's
that's
a
exactly
really exciting thing.
And it gives people another tool, another financial tool, and it's all based in education to help them not become a victim to what just goes on, to most people in just the way things work on a standard basis in life. And that education, it's amazing. Knowledge is power, and that's what we try to do here at Strategic Wealth Partners. Is we try to give our clients the knowledge that will give them the power to overcome things that they just didn't know that they could do.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thanks for joining us. I hope that conversation topic maybe spurred some thoughts, got you to be a little bit more curious, and please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you'd like to sit down with us, talk about some of these things. We don't charge a fee for the planning that we do, and we'd love to meet with you sometime.
We don't normally give out these little conversations. A lot of times we don't give out our phone number and our web address, but maybe we ought to do that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. So, if you want to connect with us, you can do that in a variety of ways. You could comment here on this video. So in the comments section, you could do that. You could go to www.theswp.com, and we've got a contact form on there that you can send us a message and let us know how to contact you.
Well, they could call us at area code 501-329-2054 and contact us that way.
Yeah, all kinds of ways nowadays to contact us.
Yeah.
So please do that, and we will see you on the next conversation.